Hey, it's Anthony Miser with Land Title. Can bring you your first to know update for Boulder County. Let's dive right into what's happening. And I think one first and foremost, average sales price looks very similar to last year. Average is down by 1%, median's up by 1%. This is not a bad sign, right? I think this is probably a pretty healthy thing for that part of the market. Of course, the condo townhouse market has had its struggles for sure in the last year and really since 2023. Here we're down 9.6% on the average. Shouldn't be too surprising after some of the behavior we saw last year, and the median down 6.5%. If we look at the average price per square foot, this does lead us into, a little bit of another, sort of second guess or check on what's happening there. And, the single family home market looks super stable, right? 0%, no change since this time last year. The condo market, this is interesting. And this leads me to believe that, the luxury market is probably doing a little bit better than maybe some of the rest of the market, because the price per square foot for the condo townhouse market, even with those average sales price drops, is up 2.5%. So it does lead me to believe that we've seen more sales at the higher end and less sales at the lower end. And those ones are definitely the ones suffering the most. Now, check this out. Active supply of inventory is down by 7% from this time last year. So sellers have clearly not put as much back on the market yet, or they didn't let as much sit over the holidays as they maybe would have in a previous year. But you can see that the new listings coming to market is already coming to market at a faster pace than we've seen the last couple of months. So sellers are sort of engaging quickly, but nothing too crazy. Buyers, on the other hand, 28% rise in buyer activity. This tells you that sellers need to get on the market sooner than later because buyers are engaged. Buyers are out there and active. They're the same pace they were in 2022 and 2024. So there's no hesitation going into the beginning of the market this year, which is a great sign, especially because we know we have so much pent up demand. Look at our month supply of inventory last year. We had expired starting to come off the market in July, which is a really strange behavior by sellers, but with so much inventory, that's what could possibly happen. This year, expect lots of listings to come to the market again, but if buyers can keep up a little bit more pace, maybe we won't see such a huge increase in inventory. But if buyers do what they did last year and they stall out around April, where that would, is not normally the peak of the market, then you're going to see the same behavior take place again with a huge rise in active units of inventory. Now, here's the days in MLS. Don't be surprised it's taken 76 days over the holidays to get something under contract into January. That's usually the highest month of the year. So you're going to see that trend down for the rest of the year, but it could take a little bit longer because with more inventory, just it takes a little bit longer to sell stuff. If buyers continue their behavior like we saw last month, this probably will trend very similar to where we were a year ago. The last thing here is check this one out. Percentage close price to list price is down by 1.4%. Buyers have a major upper hand going into the year, and they really, truly have been taking advantage of that. So if your buyers need a deal or that they're really just finally looking for, to go out and shop, this is a good one to share with them because this doesn't include concessions or price drops either. So they definitely have come out of the gate looking for a deal, being aggressive with their offers. Average showings per listing, this one's interesting. So the showings to pending number is 3% above last year, but really that's nothing to be concerned about. 17 showings to go under contract in January, but it should, just like the days in market, it should trend down through the middle of the year before it stabilizes somewhere in that, under 15 mark. The showings per listing, though, this is a really good sign that buyers are kind of out in force and they're shopping right now because we're up 7%. We're seeing 6 showings per listing. And if it trends anything like last year, the first few months of the year are going to have the most amount of showings per listing because you just don't have as much competition out there. So sellers get on the market, buyers are active, and it's clear that they're going to stay that way for a little while. If you have any other questions, concerns, need any other information, please reach out to me. This is Anthony at Land Title. Catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel.